Hello, yes, my name is Darryl Holliday. I am the co-founder and labs director at City Bureau. Just some quick background before I get started. City Bureau is a civic journalism lab that began in 2015 to address four interrelated issues: inequitable, misrepresentative local reporting, lack of diverse perspectives in newsrooms, distrust of media, largely within communities of color, and the media business models to do the kind of work of addressing these particular issues. So in the last 2.5 years, we've designed a public space and a digital space where people can engage, converse, and do the good work that needs to be done. We focus our work on the south and west sides of Chicago, where we are based. Quickly, we do this work through 3 programs. Our first program is a reporting fellowship. We basically bring together emerging journalists, some who don't have any journalism experience, some that do, pair them up with more experienced reporters, and they work collaboratively to produce work that is published around the country. Secondly, our public newsroom is a lot like what it sounds like. We open up our physical space once a week, every Thursday, and bring in a variety of co-hosts and guests and bring the public into conversation with those folks. But it is the Documenters program that I want to spend time talking about today. In a nutshell, the Documenters program, we are paying and training people to go out and document public meetings. But a bit more on that. We have to get the question, who are the documenters? Who are these people? Currently, there are 330 enrolled documenters. They come from all over the city of Chicago. 61% identify as female, 38% male, 1% non-binary. 36% are white, 33% are black, 11% are Latino or Hispanic, which is really close to parity in Chicago. And the age range is pretty wide. It's 16 to 73. So they are a diverse set of people across the city. So we've been experimenting with the Documenters program for the last 2 years or so, doing a lot of projects that, one, help journalists do their work, but two, really disaggregate the skills of journalism and distribute them among the population. But about a year ago, we began thinking of this larger question as a way to focus our work. And that was who is making decisions for Chicago, and how do we know where and when those decisions are being made? The answer quickly came to us that it's public meetings. Public meetings are important spaces for democracy where any resident can participate and hold public figures accountable. The Documenters program, like I said, pays and trains people to go to these public meetings, produce various types of content, and freely distribute that content to their communities and to our journalists. Meetings look a bit like this in a sense. In Chicago, there are dozens of commissions, departments that are doing this work. So we're looking at the public school system, the Board of Education, essentially, the City Council, the Transportation Board, city colleges, public libraries. But those meetings are, they're everywhere. They are spread across dozens of websites in different file formats, different types. Some don't have RSS feeds, some do. So you'd have to look at about 20 different websites if you wanted to, as a citizen, figure out where these decisions were being made. Sometimes they aren't published at all, and sometimes the commissions don't bother to show up. So we sent out a documenter to a commission about 2 weeks ago, and he found that nobody was there. He was the only person in the room. So he began live tweeting from that meeting. And you know, that's the only record that essentially happened of that meeting. That was a paid commission. I'm convinced that if he had not been there, nobody would have known that they were not actually at the meeting. So this initial question of how do we solve the problem of these meetings being located in different spots, that was a tech solution. So we began pulling together volunteer civic coders, supplying them with pizza, a good mission, a lot of time, good conversation. They began to build scrapers that are scraping all of these various websites, the meeting information, and putting them onto one single calendar. So that will be documenters.org, which is part of our upcoming platform. The back end looks a bit like this. So this is what I see when I am seeing all of we have about 2,000 meetings scraped at any given time. When I want to assign out a documenter to a meeting, I go to the second column here, assignment, and choose maybe we want someone to live tweet, or maybe we want someone to audio record, maybe we want someone to submit meeting notes. We send 2 documenters to every single meeting. Our goal long term is to have a documenter at every single meeting in Chicago, hence knowing where those meetings are located. This is an early mock-up of how we're thinking through what the front end of this tool will look like. So the platform itself will contain the aggregator tool, the tool that is bringing together all these public meetings, but also will allow documenters to log in, create accounts, use message boards, and claim assignments. So this is us thinking through kind of what that filter system looks like, what the wizard looks like, but this I'm sure will change in the next 3 months as we go with the project. So our question really, aside from Chicago, is what is your city council talking about? What neighborhood is your local police department doing work in? Who governs your water? These are the answers that we can find out through attending these public meetings. And as local media is being gutted in a lot of places, as staff is being fired, these local meetings are often the first to go. So we're looking at how do we help supplement that work so that journalists can continue doing the work of investigation, of contextualizing information with engagement from the public. So we're starting that with Chicago. This is a map of documenters in Chicago currently. The red is where they are most heavily, so you can see that they are increasingly coming from all over the city. But we want to add more cities. That is the goal of Documenters platform. Once we have that, we will be able to spread to Detroit, which is next. North Carolina is underway. We're looking at a lot of different places. Thank you.